Pearse 12-year-old ex-bourbon single malt Irish whiskey versus Dunville's 12-year-old single malt Irish whiskey finished in PX casks. Which way should you go? Stay tuned for the Whiskey Whistle. Hey, my whiskey people. Mark Kaufman here for Whiskey Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America, bringing you a 2-up of 12-year-old Irish single malt whiskey. We have Pearse 12-year-old, which is fully matured in ex-bourbon casks, with an interesting story behind their ex-bourbon casks. And then we have Dunville's 12-year-old single malt Irish whiskey. This one is finished in PX casks. Let's get these poured and we'll check them out and answer the question as to which way you should go. Let's start right over here. Now, it should be stated first of all that both of these are sourced. The Pearse Irish Whiskey Distillery, Pearse Lion Irish Whiskey Distillery, I think has only been running for about 5 years. I'm not quite sure. So this one is sourced. And however, interestingly, I think it's for the full maturation, but they have used casks from their Lexington distillery. I forget the name of their trade name for their bourbon, but so they've used their own bourbon casks, either for the 12 years or for the last portion thereof. Okay, so that's that one. So fully ex-bourbon matured, and that's quite a hefty pour that I poured. Okay, so the Dunville's is next. Quite the aroma coming from this Dunville's. Roughly the same. Okay. A little bit of color differential there. We'll have a look at the color right away. This, by the way, is also sourced, as I mentioned, but their distillery, which is called Ecklandville Distillery in Belfast. Okay, so they started distilling a little bit earlier, but again, still not long enough to have this be from their own distillery. So the Pearse Lion is located in Dublin, and we've got Belfast over here. So that's quite the war in a way. But we'll check those out together, side by side. And the color, first of all, what do we see for color between these two? Let me move those closer. A nice, bright, lovely golden hue, 18 karat, possibly 24. For the Pearse Lions, the Pearse Distillery, and something a little bit darker, a little bit brassier with the Dunvilles. And I'd hope there's no color added there, so that could very well be just straight up the whatchamacallit, the cask influence from those PX Pedro Jimenez casks. Those are sherry casks. Now, where are they sourced from? Who knows? Probably they're either from one of two places, either from Cooley Distillery or they're from Bushmills. Those are the places that have aged single malt stocks. But let's check the legs out together. Before I do that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel right over here. Hit the bell, ding ding, so you're notified of future Whiskey Whistles. And leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you think of this video. And if you're enjoying the content here on Whiskey Whistle, then check me out on Patreon and support the channel and join the Whiskey Whistle crew. Patreon.com/Whiskey Whistle. You'll get your name in the credits at the end of each video. You'll also get advanced viewership of each new Whiskey Whistle video. And you'll also get your own Whiskey Whistle Glencairn glass after 3 months of support on Patreon. Sound good? Hopefully I'll see you there. All right. So we'll start with the Lions, the Pearse Lions, the Pearse Irish Single Malt Whiskey. Oh yeah, we're going to check those legs out first. Pardon me. Let's see if we can do it this way. Now, it's really interesting that whether it's Bushmills or whether it's Cooley, they've got a distinct, or whether it's Teeling, pardon me, or any other single malt Irish whiskey that's coming out now, they've got this distinct Irishness to them. And I think that's fantastic, and I really enjoy that. Okay, let's see what we have for legs. Turn those to the side. The first one out of the blocks is the Pearse. Much slower for the Dunvilles. Much, much slower. Of course, my fingerprints are in the way. Well, on the outside anyway. Very slow with this Dunvilles. That's really, really interesting. For legs anyway, the points go to Dunvilles. Of course, that just tells us possibly about the mouthfeel. And I'd say these will both be very nice in mouthfeel. Okay, so we'll start with the Pearse. Classic Irish single malt whiskey. Oh, I forgot. This also could be from West Cork Distillery. I believe they also have 12-year-old stocks now. It's a combination of straight up vanilla and then something a little bit green, foresty like. And I can't quite put my finger on how else to describe this. The ABV on the Pearse, by the way, 43% and 46% for the Dunvilles. Again, another straw in the cap of this guy. So we've got vanilla. We've got a little bit of honey lemon lozenge in there. Like honey flavored Halls candy with a little bit of herbal kind of edge to it. And we've got lots and lots of vanilla here. And straight up kind of like an orange, the smell of orange juice, fresh, kind of tart orange juice. Like a Valencia orange juice. Or if you happen to be a person who knows what a can of frozen orange juice concentrate smells like, a little bit like that. A little bit of that orange oil in there. Interesting. So we've got orange citrus and vanilla, something herbal, something foresty. And I think it's time for me to take a sip of this one. Cheers, folks. Lots of vanilla here. Lots of that orange citrus flavor as well. We still have the greeny, herbal, foresty flavors in there too. The finish is sweet, orange, vanilla. That nice, very fresh oak here. Something almost herbal coming through there that makes me wonder if those Lexington Distillery ex-bourbon casks from their sister distillery in USA, from where these casks came from, whether those were high rye bourbon. Nice tingly, clean sensation on my tongue. A little bit waxy. Very, very nice. If you're a Glenmorangie fan, this would be a very nice exploration into Irish single malt for you. Let's add a little bit of water here. Not too much. It's 43%, so we don't need very much water in there. With water, we get more of that orange flavor coming through, orange scent. And yet also something like if there could be an orange scented furniture wax like Pledge or whatever. Murphy's wood oil. That's interesting. Almost leather-esque here. Still a lot of vanilla coming through. Let's check the palate out then. Cheers again. Citrus, vanilla, citrus, vanilla. Sprinkled with the herbs. Some Ricola. Orange flavored halls with that slightly mentholic hit to it. Very interesting. Final sip here. Well, nice finish, nice and clean, sweet. The orange, a little bit of bitter kind of orange rind going on there. Enjoyable. Okay, on to the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Pearse Irish whiskey, 12-year-old ex-bourbon single malt Irish whiskey. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 84 out of 100. You heard it, 84 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Pearse Irish whiskey. It's quite good. I think it would have done very well at a higher strength. And I got to say, maybe with another year or two in barrel, to coax out a little bit more of that waxy herbal edge to it. Okay, so that is the Pearse. Now, I think what you've been waiting for, let's get into the Dunville's 12-year-old PX finish Irish single malt whiskey. Now, they're a little bit elusive on the bottle with the age. It's right up here on this little tiny inlay. It's pretty prominent on the canister, but not so on the bottle. The canister, by the way, has no useful information in there, other than I think this is an older medical chief recommendation. Adults do not exceed men 3 to 4 units per day. Women 2 to 3 units per day. I think that's since been changed. So anyway, nothing really on the canister. Honestly, not a lot on the bottle either. So we see single malt Irish whiskey by Dunville & Co. Limited, distillers, blenders, and bottlers. Genuine whiskey, thoroughly matured, particularly smooth to the palate, standard quality maintained. A very rare Irish single malt whiskey. It's not that rare. Aged Irish malt whiskey finished in ex Pedro Jimenez sherry casks. Bottled at 46% ABV and non-chill filtered. That's great. I think this is non-chill filtered too. It's actually quite hazy in the bottle to retain full flavor and true character. It says nothing about color, whether that's added or not. Hopefully not. Attractive label for sure. Yeah, that's got a bit of haze to it. And it's not just my fingerprints. Okay. So the Dunvilles on the nose. I think that's a different distillery. I think this might be Cooley. This might be from Bushmills. Very different. A little bit less of that greeny, fresh note that I often associate with Irish single malt whiskeys. It's still there, but just less so. And I wouldn't say it's especially sherried. This is still predominantly a ex-bourbon matured single malt. We've got a bit of cocoa. Wow. A bit of light, soft leather. I don't get any dark fruits here. A little bit of fresh strawberry on the nose. A coating of vanilla in there. Icing sugar on those strawberries. And that light cocoa. Well, so far this does win for the nose, but let's give it its fair shake and check out the palate. Cheers, folks. It's sweet. It's kind of Scotch single malt at first, and then its Irish character comes through, and then it comes out tart. So sweet and then tart as that develops on your palate. Some zingy effervescence also at the tip of your tongue. Some very fresh ex-bourbon casks were in play here, I believe. More dry than sweet. Some fresh raspberries, strawberry in there as well. There's no dried fruit here. Maybe a dried mango thrown in there. Fresh black seedless grapes. You crush a bunch in your mouth and just bite on that. You get the tannins from the skins, the sweet from the juice all working together. So a little bit of that here. The finish is especially very Irish single malt-esque. We've got the green herbal. We have the that foresty type of a walk in the forest flavor that just gets in your mouth. Long, complex finish. We'll add some water here. Maybe a little more than half a teaspoon. Okay, so here we go for Dunville's PX 12-year-old with water added. Well, we kind of lose the raspberries, the strawberry, and we're getting a bit of the lemony kind of bit of peach, bit of lemon, bit of orange here as well. Buckets of vanilla coming through. I'm missing the chocolate. I think that was very nice without water. I think I prefer the nose without water, but it's an interesting change, which is good. Okay, on to the palate. Cheers. More citrus. We still have the red fruit in there. Those dark grapes are still present, including the tannic skins. A little puff of cocoa, like you open the canister and you put it on the table, and then this little cloud of cocoa just kind of fills the air. Fresh, fruity, enjoyable finish. The Pearse was a little bit waxy in mouthfeel. This is much cleaner, much lighter in mouthfeel. So actually almost contrary to what we saw for legs there. But I think it's the added tartness, astringency, that's making that a very clean feeling on the palate. One more sip. All right, one more sip. Whoops. A little bit of cherry. Cherry Hall's lozenge here as well. So hopefully that kind of tells you about the shift in style between Scotch single malt and some other countries whose single malts are very similar in style, like the Netherlands, like Canada. And then we have this shift. And I want to say, if it was a Venn diagram, it would only be about 60% similar in the middle. Okay, so on to the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Dunville's PX finish, 12-year-old single malt Irish whiskey. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 87 out of 100. You heard it, 87 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Dunville's single malt Irish whiskey. 87 for Dunville's, 84 for Pearse. And price-wise, the difference is negligible. If you want to try an Irish single malt, these are good options. But a bit pricey compared to Scotch single malts. Okay. And interestingly, with the Pearse, you can see a lot of floating content. And it's not the cork. The cork is in good shape. So that tells me that we've got really no serious filtration that's gone on with that one. So that's great. And again, the color is a little bit hazy. And it's also a little bit hazy in the glass too. And these both should be about now. Yep. Final comparison here. Vanilla orange deliciousness. Here we've got that strawberry hit. Something else I can't quite put my finger on, but it's interesting, it's different, and I think it's well worth it. So for me, that's the way to go. They're both enjoyable. Let me know your thoughts on either of these or both if you've tried. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Again, my name is Mark Kaufman. You're watching Whiskey Whistle. Subscribe, hit like, leave me a comment. Check me out on Patreon, okay? Take care, folks. Goodbye now.